Hello, everybody. Mike from Southern California again, and it's Thursday, April 2nd, 2020, and you're on the mic. So on today's episode, we're gonna talk about um, Funimation's appeals response brief and Nick Rekida's coverage of it. Um, so so let's get right to it then. So as Nick covered, as he went through like about the first half of the document because it was 71 pages. I think he said he got up to page 37, which is a little over half the document, of course. You know, there's a bit of revisionist history in, maybe even some outright lies in the fact statements. Again, they keep saying that Vic admitted to stuff that he didn't admit to. And I know Nick was real like upset about because they kept coming back to Vic feeling the need to apologize for whatever behavior he did. You heard Nick constantly say, "Do not apologize to these people," you know, because you don't apologize to the mob, you know. Um, but Volney took some liberties with the truth. It was pretty obvious. Um, Making some pretty radical claims there. Um, Kept pointing to Chuck's, laziness as evidence that Chuck had, denied evidence. Obviously Chuck didn't really, take this. I don't think he took this case too seriously. He just wanted to get it through his courtroom. Um, it's kind of funny because if only at one point said that no no reasonably intelligent person would would assume that Funimation's tweets, the two tweets that they were talking a lot about, would assume they were talking about Vic or implying that they were accusing him of harassment. And if anything, it's basically what Monica was somebody who made that assumption. So you must be saying that she's not of reasonable intelligence. You know, he would point to the Funimation's investigation, but yet they never offered that into evidence. In fact, Judge Shupp just didn't want to consider any evidence. Really, the he didn't want to consider neither Vic's evidence or the defendant's evidence. He just wanted to move the case through, and Volney and the other lawyers are just going to take that as an easy victory. And that's why we're in appeals now. Um, you know, Granted, his language wasn't as sensational as Johnson's was, but it was pretty much the same message. Vic is the creator of his own mess, and we had nothing to do with it. Nothing we did anything. But um, and again, as being that Volney is he's representing Funimation, so he's gonna try to put them in the best light possible. But one of the, as we go get a little later into the brief, and we talk about his arguments as to why Vic didn't prove his case, you know, it's like the one thing that the defendants do not, the appellees in this case, do not want the appeals court to consider is the second amended petition, because I think everybody knows that's the linchpin. That's the one thing that will win Vic the case is the Second Amendment petition, the Chuck Huber's affidavit as well as Chris Slatash's affidavits. If they if the appellate court sees what's in those and sees that Chuck did not even consider that, they know they're dead in the water. They don't want the appeals court to look at that yet. Both Johnson, from what we've seen these last couple of days, as Nick's gone over the documents, both Sam Johnson and John Volney are the ones who brought it up. You know, Law Twitter, and they were saying, well, he can't, it was a surprise as this was all new evidence, but even Nick said, no, it wasn't new evidence. It was evidence that was already in there, just condensed. And they did give a reasonable explanation as to why they were late because of technical difficulties. Okay? Um, but, it's kind of funny because how like, the defendants in this case, the appellees, got their victory on basically more or less legal. It wasn't as much that Vic didn't provide evidence. His team was not allowed to provide evidence. Judge Shupp really, at the end of the day, wasn't really interested in considering any evidence, any of the arguments on both sides. And because of that, you know, it does make it look stronger for the appeals court. And the one thing, as I said, that the defendants, the appellees, don't want the appeals court to look at is those Second Amendment petition. Yet, both Jimmy Markey's lawyer, Sam Johnson, and John Volney for Funimation, they're the ones who are bringing it up. They're trying to paint it as Vic was trying to swerve the system, as they were trying to do something they weren't supposed to. Chuck ruled in their favor on that, even though he claimed he didn't necessarily agree that that's what was being tried done. Ty, when asked, that was even saying that wasn't the case. You know, um, and of course, just as Johnson did, Volney raised some fact questions in his appeals brief that he didn't have to, that might get the case thrown back to, might get it remanded or even pushed forward because, you know, instead of trying to squash this, it almost seems like they're trying to push it forward. They're trying to do Ty's job for him, basically, by trying to push it forward with this stuff. You know, they don't want the Second Amendment, and they've made that clear. They don't want the Second Amendment petition or the unsworn documents. They don't want the appellate court to be looking at those. Yet they're the ones bringing it up, and very likely will most likely get them looked at. So what they're trying to do, they're doing the exact opposite of what they're actually trying to do at the end of the day. But nobody really knows what the appeals court is going to do, obviously. But most people, you start saying, don't look at this, don't look at this, don't look at this. The first thing they do is look at it. That's human nature right there. You know? So, there is a contrarian streak in the human condition there. Yeah, I mean, just some. Granted, now as I said, Volney's language in the brief wasn't as sensational as Johnson, but still basically pushing the same message that Vic didn't really provide enough evidence or even the basic evidence required by the TCPA. But in retrospect, it wasn't that Vic didn't have it or wasn't trying to present it. He wasn't being allowed to present it. And if the appeals court decides to scrutinize everything presented before them, including the Second Amendment petition, it could very well get remanded back to Chup or even pushed forward. They might just decide, you know something, Chup didn't really look at this. You should have looked at this. We're just gonna let it pass TCPA. In other words, it's gonna move forward. You know, um, so that I would say is the conclusion of my viewpoint on Funimation's response brief. Now, with that being said, let's move on to something else here. This day in Nietzsche history. So, on this date, April 2nd, 2020, first off, I'd like to wish a happy 44th birthday to Japanese voice actor Daisuke Namikara. Um, as I said, he's a Japanese voice actor. Some of you who are sub fans have probably heard his work. You know, among some of his among his works include being the Japanese voice of 5D Fluorite from Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, Gaimon Ishikawa the Eighth and Lupin the Third series of movies starting in 2015, Jalal Fernandez and Mystigan in Fairy Tale. Um, let's see, he was also Ukiora Silver and Bleach, Hisoka and Hunter x Hunter. Of course, a Japanese voice for all these characters. Eustace Kid in One Piece, Tokaku Chuen in Ikitozen. So, happy 44th birthday to Daisuke Namikara. Hope you have a good day today, man. Also, on this date in 1995, WrestleMania 11 happened. In the main event, Lawrence Taylor defeated Bam Bam Bigelow. Um, in his one of his few wrestling matches. I think he only had a couple in his career. I don't remember if he was part of the football battle royal back in WrestleMania 2, but actually no, he wasn't. In fact, I remember that now. This is said to be his debut, basically. Also on the card, Diesel retained the WWF Championship over Shawn Michaels. Um, Owen Hart and mystery partner Yokozuna would defeat the Smoking Guns for the WWF Tag Team Championships. Um, Jeff Jarrett would retain the WWE Intercontinental Championship via disqualification over Razor Ramon. The Undertaker would, of course, extend his streak to, let's see, this was 11, so, well, yeah, I think this is still early on in, so, let's see, 91, 92, 93, 94. So I think this is his fifth, he extended his streak to 5-0 by defeating King Kong Bundy. Um, King Kong Bundy. So yeah, those were more or less the main matches there. Of course, Bret Hart beat Bob Backlund in an I Quit match with Roddy Piper as a special guest referee, and the allied powers of British Bulldog and Lex Luger would defeat the Blue Brothers. So, so that's what happened on this date in 1995, which was, of course, 25 years ago. And then on this date in 1997, Image Comics would release the first issue of Adventures of Aaron on the newsstands on this date in 1997. On this date in 1997, Image Comics would release on the newsstands Adventures of Aaron #1, the debut issue of Adventures of Aaron. So, with that all being said, um, you can check the link below. If you'd like to contact me directly, you can DM me on my Discord. Check out the Discord and join if you'd like. Um, Also, I'm still promoting a bunch of different dub companies. Remember Funimation, and I did see today that Flash and Hero Hey had some videos about Funimation creeping over into Japan. I will probably look at those a bit here, but Funimation isn't still really the only game in town. Um, there's other works out there you guys can check out. Don't let them just you should really start checking out some of those other companies. Like right now, I think Media Blasters headline Sound Studios in New York, Sentai Filmworks in Houston. Because Funimation is not really the only game in town, people. Check out some of the other works out there as well, and check out some works of some other VAs other than Funimation. We can make a difference. We just have to start showing that we want to make a difference. And that is by looking into the other companies and supporting their work. Um, Also, and of course, right now with everybody, with us, pretty much being limited to the number of times we can go out, be a good time to really look into some other animes and stuff. So, um, and with that, I'm also still promoting the GoFundMe. As always, guys, never feel like you have to donate. If you have the means to, it's on your heart to do so, please consider donating. If if you've already donated, please consider donating again. And if you can't donate, you can still help out the cause by sharing the links. After all, sharing is caring. And you never know, maybe somebody in your circle of friends might see it and say, yeah, I want to help out too. It doesn't hurt to ask. And if you like this content, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I always look forward to the conversation with you guys as long as it's civil and respectful. And I generally will get right back to you as soon as I can. Um, and I do appreciate you guys checking out my video. I hope you guys will be watching the whole videos and just really listening in and giving your input as well. So, anyways, I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, and don't forget, tomorrow's also, aside from Friday's edition of On the Mic, will also be the premiere of my next Voices Big and Small segment. So, until tomorrow, guys. Bye.